All right, crack open a tepid Genesee and watch the pictures as they travel through your neighbor's Wi-Fi. It's the Rees Company. I'm Steve Rees, the bull of American broadcasting, alongside the great, the potentate of the Chevy stock Super 8, Chris Morganti. How are you, Chris?
I'm good. I like the intro.
Very excited?
Oh, yeah, always.
We have a lot going on tonight. Actually, two big things.
Right. We have a new funny or hate crime.
Yes, and we also have a new movie of the week. This week, it's Off the Minnesota Strip from 1980. And I guess we should just dive right into this, correct?
Why not?
Okay, you've brought in another funny or hate crime. Now, shall we explain how this works?
Well, it's basically something that we find either funny or a hate crime, some article in the news. So far, the two we've done before, one came down as both and the other came down as neither.
Yeah.
So this is very open to any kind of interpretation we want to put on it.
It's important to point out that there are four choices. We have funny, we have hate crime, we have both, or none of the above.
Or possibly a fifth possibility we haven't even come up with yet.
We haven't encountered that one yet, but that's always a possibility. How familiar are you with the story we had for this week?
Pretty familiar, actually.
Okay, you want to tell the folks?
The headline is, Man Claims He Found Black Sims Chained Up in Basement While Playing on His Ex's Computer. Now, I say I'm familiar with this because 20 years ago, I played the original game, The Sims, on my computer. I did not realize people were still playing it. I guess there's been new versions. I haven't kept up with it. But when I used to play, it was not possible to have slavery in your game. But apparently they've made it more dynamic. I don't know.
And that's why I was skeptical about this, because I know nothing about The Sims. I thought this story might be fake because, like you, Chris, I couldn't imagine this would be something the game would allow a player to do. So I asked the A-Bomb about this.
Okay.
Because every few months, she gets tired of hearing about Oasis Dawn to Dusk. And she decides to cleanse her mental palate. She's got to play The Sims for a few hours or perhaps even a day or an entire weekend.
It can be very engrossing.
It is engrossing, and she seems to enjoy it, and it provides a sense of peace. And she told me that there are people who know how to manipulate the game in a way where almost anything is possible. So this is very likely that someone figured out how to do this. Yeah,
it didn't seem out of the realm of possibility to me, because when I used to play, I'd play my character, and you'd end up with like a wife at some point, right? And a wife and a family and a home and all this, and eventually you'd be like, maybe I want to try having a new wife. So what I would do is I'd send the wife into the swimming pool in the backyard there, the swimming pool, and then you just use your editing tool to delete the ladder so that she cannot get out of the swimming pool, and she drowns. The body goes away in a couple of days, and you're all clear to have a new wife.
And you go on to star in Boston Legal.
Yeah.
So that's the extent of your knowledge of the chicanery you can pull as a player in Sims. So, so this story does check out.
Yeah.
Funny, hate crime, both, neither.
Well, we have some further information. The relationship did not end long after this happened. So this did cause a breakup. He said he was a racist. He was kind of like a misogynist. He was a cheater. He always had his phone face down. Now, what I found interesting about this is these are two gay guys, right?
Yeah.
He's a misogynist? How's that work with two gay guys? I'm not sure I'm following that part of it.
Well, that's how big a misogynist is. He doesn't want anything to do with women.
Okay. All right, I guess. I don't know.
Because a lot of times when they call a man a misogynist, they always say like they did this with Trump. It's like, he's a misogynist. He hates women. He can't stand women. He has hatred toward women. And well, what is your evidence for this? Well, he can't get enough women. It never really seemed to add up.
I guess it's all about how you treat them.
I think that can be a true misogynist. He's so committed to his hatred toward the quote unquote fairer sex that he doesn't even want to have sex with them.
You have a great point. Maybe he's not even gay.
Yes, that's how deep the hatred goes.
Well, I'm not sure where I'd weigh in. It's definitely not a hate crime. It's funny. I mean, it's pretty damn funny.
It's a funny thing to do. I don't think it can be considered a hate crime because can you commit an act of hatred against pixelated characters on a computer screen?
Yeah. Yeah. And we don't know that they were all black, you know? We got no reliable source on that. There could have been a person of another race chained up in the basement as well. Who knows?
Yeah, in this article, I saw no screenshots of what this guy was up to.
Right. So we're saying not a hate crime.
What his handiwork produced. No, not a hate crime.
It's kind of funny. I think if we did have screenshots, it would be funnier.
Not an act of hate. Perhaps an extension of his beliefs, but there's no proof of that.
Right.
So it's difficult to ascribe hatred to it. And not a crime.
No, not a crime. But do you find it funny?
I don't know if it's necessarily funny. I think it's more odd than funny.
Yeah.
Do we have a funny strange or funny aha category for these?
I suppose either definition of that word will work.
Okay, well, I will say funny strange, or in the absence of that as an option, I will say neither.
Yeah, I'm going to go with funny because I chuckled a little bit.
All right. Shall we do it?
Our movie of the week.
Yeah, you want to go for this?
You know, this was a real gold mine of interesting things going on.
Into dialogue.
Yeah. But it certainly did not start that way. If we want to dive into the first clip, or we go into the other one first.
Before we get to the first clip, I want to explain a little about this film. It's called Off the Minnesota Strip. It aired on ABC in 1980. It stars Mare Winningham, who we've seen before.
Yeah.
Who was Julia?
She was the person who had another person's brain put inside her.
Correct. And also Hal Holbrook and Michael Learned.
Well, now, Hal Holbrook, wasn't he in one of these too?
I don't think we've seen him yet.
No? I thought we did.
Off the Minnesota Strip. Now, the term Minnesota Strip has an interesting history. It refers to an area in Hell's Kitchen, Manhattan. And it was known at the time for heavy prostitution activity, and sadly, not for actively heavy prostitutes. It was rumored that the girls who worked in that neighborhood were largely runaways from the Midwest who had fled to New York and ended up turning to prostitution, hence the Minnesota Strip.
So you're telling me this did not take place in Minnesota?
No, the film takes place in Minnesota.
Oh, okay. So they're using a play on words there to...
Oh, no. She flees to New York.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, but...
all of the film takes place in Minnesota.
In Minnesota, yeah.
Yeah.
But you're referencing an area in Manhattan.
Yes, because that's where those of us who watch the film, Chris, know that that's where she ran away to.
Look, all I said was they're using a double entendre, which is exactly what you're saying.
No, it literally refers to this area in Manhattan that at the time was known for prostitution.
Yes, and the double entendre is she's from Minnesota.
It was rumored that all of the girls in that territory were from Minnesota.
Exactly. We're like saying the same thing, and yet we're acting like we're disagreeing. Well, I don't understand.
Then it was odd to interrupt me to repeat what I just said, if that's the case.
All right. I'll just, you know what? I'll just keep my mouth shut for the rest of the show. How does that come?
Well, please don't, because this paragraph is really the rest of what I have. The term was so well known that a detective from the Minneapolis Police Department traveled to New York to see if he could recover any girls who had gone missing from his city. You know how many he found, Chris?
I would guess zero.
Zero.
Right.
Because it turned out that a lot of these girls, whenever they were asked where they were from, they'd made a habit of claiming to be from Minnesota to disguise their identities.
Right.
Most of them were from Jersey or Yonkers or something.
I would assume. Yeah.
So I wonder how committed these ladies were to the Minnesota ruse. If you pass them on the sidewalk where they say, hey, mister, are you looking for a prairie home companion? Off the Minnesota Strip was written and produced by a young David Chase. You know that name, right?
I believe he also did The Sopranos.
Yeah, he wrote and created The Sopranos. And for this, he also won an Emmy for outstanding writing in a limited series or special.
Yeah. I mean, it's great, frankly.
And
I enjoyed it more than The Sopranos. I thought the characters were better and more interesting. He should have made this into a 8-season series, in my opinion.
Well, it stars, as we said, Mare Winningham. She plays Michelle/Mickey Johansson/Johansson. This movie can't decide.
Yeah.
She's a troubled Minnesota teen who has run away from home. Now, before we get into the body of the film, there was something you noticed because the version we watched was from the original broadcast on KABC.
Yeah.
And it contained the original advertisements.
Yeah, the commercials.
And there was something you picked out that you wanted to share with the folks.
Yeah, it's a movie called Jim's bringing it up now. I don't remember.
Okay, it's called The Long Riders.
The Long Riders. It's a Western. And it looked pretty interesting. And I noticed that this is available on a couple of streaming services for free. So I'm going to take a watch in the next week, and maybe I'll have something to say about it on the show. But it looks interesting. What I find really interesting is why do they cast all these brothers? What's going on here?
Yeah, we have
you got the Carradines, you got the Keaches, you got the Quaids, and you got the guests.
Yeah.
Very strange. Why, I have to know why they did this.
Well, this is based on the story of The Long Riders, based on the story of the James and Younger outlaw gangs.
Right.
The Carradines were cast first, and the idea came about to cast more real-life brothers in all the main roles. And it was actually, Chris, originally meant to air on NBC.
As a movie of the week. Okay.
Yeah. But the network eventually passed on it, so it was released to cinemas instead.
Yeah, well, I think it said it was rated R, so that may have been why.
Well, they may have punched up the script a bit following the network cancellation.
Right. You could have gone either way. But, yeah, I just thought that was interesting, and maybe, I don't know, maybe we'll get to watch it, and we can have something to say about it next week, or maybe it'll suck. Who knows? The fact that we've never heard of it before tends me to think that it's probably not so good. But
well, maybe it didn't get much press apart from the network ad placement, because it was known in the industry that it was originally intended to be for broadcast television.
Yeah.
And it kind of loses a bit of cachet.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So you want to get into the first scene you want to watch?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, as I said, this is a very... the film is very exciting. It's got a lot going on. Why they started it this way is beyond me. You can roll it.
Yeah, let's see this.
This is about a minute, this clip here. There you hear the boat hitting the dock. Some music playing in the background. Don't worry if I'm talking. You won't be missing any dialogue. So now that, if I see correctly, the daughter's on the dock, right?
No, I think she's still in the boat.
She's still in the boat. Okay. She eventually gets on the dock.
Are you saying this is belabored, Chris?
It has not yet begun to be belabored. Well, watch what happens next. The old guy's trying to get off. The boat starts drifting away from the dock. Uh-oh. Hey, maybe we should reshoot this scene. Nah, let me just grab the boat and drag it back over here. All right, now we got it solved, right? Nope, can't get here. The old man can't get off the boat. Hey, make sure you put this in the film, all right?
Hey, look on the bright side. Gordon Lightfoot got a song out of this.
Yeah, now it gets interesting with the first dialogue.
Danielle? Huh? I want you to come in and set the table for lunch.
Aunt Vinny said she's gonna do it.
I want you to do it, and I mean like now.
This is like a concentration camp.
Now, I'm not going to say that that's a bit hyperbolic, Steve, because I did read Eli Wiesel's book about the Holocaust night, and I do know that chief among the complaints at Auschwitz were having to set the dinner table. So I think they were pretty spot on there.
Right. No one wanted to be on KP.
Right.
So not long afterward, a call comes in to Shay Johansson. Now, I'd like you to take note of the room left on the other end of the line for dialogue to be heard in the Johansson kitchen. The convenient pauses that allow the Johanssons to interact, because I'll have more to say about that in just a bit. Here's the call.
City Police Department.
Where is she? Is she okay?
Mrs. Johansson, I really think it's best for all concerned if you could come down and we could talk in person.
What happened?
Will you be quiet? Can't you see I'm trying to find out? I don't understand why you're being so evasive. And what do the New York police have to do with anything?
New York? New York City, geez Louise.
Well, Mrs. Johansson, according to the New York City Police Department, Michelle's been involved in some prostitution out there.
Dum, dum, dum.
Mrs. Johansson?
I'm listening.
Anyway, it appears that she was assaulted by a man she alleges was her pimp. She was beaten and whipped.
Where do you want us to come? Where's your office?
My other line's ringing. Let me put you on hold.
You all right, Lee?
What was she doing in New York, Mom?
You can stop it there.
Well, she's been performing off Broadway. And her opening was met with rave reviews.
Nice. What was she doing in New York, Mom? It's called a hot Carl.
Anything else?
No, I think we've
Well, Michelle is flown back to Minneapolis and brought to a police station to be reunited with her parents and provide a statement about the assault she received and suffered at the hands of her New York pimp.
Did you have a long drive?
Hi, Mick.
Oh, you've been there. You know how long
We
the
had an
drive is.
accident. No big deal. I rear-ended a bread truck. So,
right, can we
where's this
stop it
cop
there?
we're supposed to...
No big deal. I rear-ended a bread truck. This guy's got a weird concept of not a big deal. Oh, not a big deal. I rear-ended a truck carrying some penguins to the zoo, and they're not used to the warm climate, so I had to buy them all ice cream, and then a pack of coyotes came along, and I had to fend them off. Not a big deal.
All right.
Talk to?
It's not a cop.
Nice to see ya.
The police lieutenant.
Where's Danielle?
And then you wonder, Bud, why these things happen to us.
What did I say now? What did I say?
He's gonna be here in a minute. He just went to call his wife or something.
Yeah, a lot of overlapping dialogue here, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, there are several YouTube comments talking about how realistic the interactions are. I don't know if you noticed any of those, Chris.
I did. I read all the comments. Yeah.
And yes, people do talk over each other in real life, but isn't it less likely to occur when people are standing in front of one another versus when someone is on the phone while being talked to by other people in the same room? Or does this scene predict what would become the typical podcast?
Oh, that's a good point. But you kind of think that, it took 20 years for him to perfect the realistic dialogue that he was going for.
Right.
By the time he got to The Sopranos, which is known for its realistic dialogue. So
Fair enough. Well, we're going to jump a little later into this conversation. Bud, that's Hal Holbrook's character.
Okay.
He finally comes up with something to say to his daughter.
What did they tell you about me?
What do you want us to say? Why are you crying?
I'm not crying, Mom.
Are the teeth, Mick?
There you go. You haven't seen your daughter in 2 months. She's just been arrested for prostitution, and you want to know how her teeth are. Now, we do find out later that she was apparently supposed to have her braces off a month earlier, which I guess it's a big deal to leave your braces on too long. I don't know. But you don't find that out till much later, so it's very odd to...
Well, Michelle goes ahead and makes half a statement to the police before her mother decides that the girl has just had enough. So they go home where Michelle and her sister Danielle, they like rhyming names in this clan. Michelle and her sister are reunited.
They trashed my birthday party because of you. It was all set for next weekend till they heard you were coming home.
Why?
Mom says you've been through all this emotional stuff,
Oh, man.
and she doesn't want a bunch of people around her upsetting you.
They're scamming you on that one, Danielle. That ain't the reason. Listen,
Danielle, I'll talk to her. Oh, yeah, sure, like they're really gonna listen to you.
What'd they tell you about me?
Nothing, but I saw how quiet and freaky they got. Everybody knows about girls from around here who go to New York and about the Minnesota Strip and everything. I know the score on you. You're just like on Kojak. You're a whore.
One of those old Kojak whores.
I know the score on you, see? Who's this gal? Edward G. Robinson?
I'm no sticking them out. I've been watching Kojak. I got the down low. You're one of those whores like on the Golden Girls.
You've been using your gams like you've been reading the Bible upside down. So, Bud, again, that's Hal Holbrook's character. He tries to extend an olive branch to Michelle, you know? But at a very bizarre time in a very bizarre place.
Okay. I don't recall this.
Let's see this. Very short.
I brought you a sandwich.
I'm not.
Yeah, enjoy it in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Hey, when you're dressed, meet me in the kitchen, you know, for a game of billiards.
Right. And we'll find out later just how inappropriate that was. It seems merely odd at this point. Later we'll find out it's horrifying.
Well, Hal Holbrook's character in this film is indeed pretty complex. He's shown many times focusing on trivial day-to-day concerns while his family's in crisis.
Right.
While it's not clear while he regards his upstairs bathroom as a TGI Fridays, it is clear that he cares about his daughter, but chooses to fixate on the mundane, and that's as a means of distancing himself from the grim reality that the family's facing. We're about to see an example of this as Michelle returns to the precinct to finish her statement.
I will say that did look like a good sandwich, though.
Yeah.
Looked like a nice turkey club or something.
I'd let the guy make me lunch.
Yeah, I mean, if you go through all the effort of frying up bacon to make a turkey sandwich, like, top notch, man. Top notch.
Can't beat it.
Say, I'm the green superintendent over at the Lakeland Country Club, and we've been trying like the devil to get that sprinkler system fixed on the back nine before the ground really freezes up tight. It's been...
Like some cream?
Yeah, no, I'll have just sugar. It's been snafus all down the line. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Your wife was mentioning that you were considering a psychologist for Michelle, so I took the liberty of giving her the name of a man that I know.
Mm-hmm.
There aren't too many therapists equipped to handle prostitutes and what they go through.
Really? Why is that?
Mr.
Yeah,
Johansson.
well, as long as that Mau back in New York gets up on some kind of charges, that's something.
Mr. Johansson, a lot of people have a lot of misconceptions about the sporting life. And it diffuses the problem.
I'm sorry.
It's not just a matter of black men exploiting white girls.
What was that?
That's just street prostitution.
Can we go back a little bit, Jim? I'm not quite sure I heard that correctly. Not too far. I think you went past it. We may have to hear about the back nine a second time, but
Here we go.
A lot of people have a lot of misconceptions about the sporting life. And it diffuses the problem. It's not just a matter of black men exploiting white girls. That's just street prostitution. There's white pimps, black...
okay. I'm pretty sure I heard it correctly. Hearing it a second time.
Yeah?
He did refer to prostitution as the sporting life.
Yeah.
What? Have you ever heard it referred to in that term before?
I've never heard it described that way.
I thought that was like a professional gambler or something. The sporting life. What? Why would a cop use that terminology?
I guess maybe at the time that was considered jargon. Or
Well,
a euphemism to, especially when you're talking to victims' parents.
okay.
It might be an easier way of relating to them.
Well, what's old is new, because I'm going to start saying that all the time now. You also heard him, I believe the term was a mama.
Mau, I think.
Mau.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, which I had never heard that before in my life either. But earlier he did refer to the New York pimp as a So, yeah, that was on network television, folks.
Okay.
Not my words, his.
Okay,
I had
but-
nothing to do with this.
Still on our channel and again demonetized. So,
think?
Sporting Life is bizarre.
You think for that?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, Jim can bleep it, I guess.
No, you don't have to bleep anything. It's fine.
Yeah, whatever. Who cares?
But I do agree. Sporting Life sounds like she ran away to join a polo team.
Yeah.
Not that she was a part of the victory party.
Yeah, they call like hunters and fishers, they call them sportsmen.
Right.
You know? But I don't know.
So Michelle returns to school.
Right.
And her principal, he's fully apprised on what she's been up to in New York.
Oh, boy. I bet she's going to get a dressing down. That kind of thing might spook a girl.
Nice. Nicely done. See, context sometimes still matters. Let's
Okay.
hope.
Well, we'll find out.
Okay. Well, and let's find out what happened in this private meeting.
I'm responsible for your education and to a large extent your socialization. I think it'd probably be a good thing if you told me something about New York and all of that.
All of what?
Your experiences, your way of life.
You want me to tell you about prostitution?
So that I have an idea where you're coming from.
Yes, in detail.
Well,
It stays right here within these walls. And don't be embarrassed, because I won't be.
These soundproof walls.
Were they primarily older men or what?
Did they look like me?
really rather not talk about it right now, Dr. Haas. A lot of it was real bad and still kind of fresh in my mind, you know.
Well, maybe some other time. Because I want you to feel free and talk to me about your problems anytime you feel the need.
Oh, boy.
Thanks.
Now, I don't know if you heard the noise in the background during the scene, Chris.
The train?
Not the train. While
No.
we were watching the scene,
Oh.
there was a faint noise in the background. You know what that was?
Him getting an erection? No, I don't know.
No, possibly, but there was another one.
Okay.
Sting tuning his bass. So Michelle goes into therapy to deal with her trauma,
Right.
as recommended by law enforcement, and the family agrees to it, and she attends this therapy session.
You have the intelligence to get anything out of school you want to.
Just like Dr. Haas. You know, I gotta tell you, that's why this therapy deal ain't gonna work between us.
What's why?
There ain't a man around I can't seduce.
That's really throwing down the gauntlet right there, Steve. I'm gonna call her on her bluff. And Jim, can you put my phone number up on the screen, please? And Mare Winningham, give me a call, and we'll see about that. Because I'm guessing you're about 60 years old right now.
Probably around there.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Word gets around in a small town saying Martina McBride, right before she caused all that trouble among those mythical creatures. But she could have easily been singing about any high school. Michelle's sister told the wrong person about what Michelle had been up to in the Big Apple.
Oh, boy.
And now it's common knowledge among her classmates.
Well, you don't want that.
No, not at all. But
Is that a modern day photo of Mare Winningham?
Yeah, there she is. She's still a pretty gal.
Yeah. Put my number up, and yeah. Did I derail the show with this? I'm sorry.
No, I'm just okay. So all of her classmates know what she's been up to. But there's a shy boy called Dwayne in her class.
Okay.
And she has his attention.
Right.
And he asks her out on a date. So
Yeah, he's also drinking and driving. That's happening.
Well, yeah, but this was 1980. I think all kids did that.
I think it was legal back then.
And not only legal, mandatory.
Yeah, didn't one of our presidents get pinched on that back around that time?
Yeah, I believe
George W.
maybe
Bush.
3 presidents ago. Yeah. All right.
Also, a senator ran into some trouble with it too, but that was before that. Involved a bridge. No, not following me. All right.
Oh, I'm following you. Yeah. Okay, so Dwayne asks her out on a date, and let's see how the date goes.
Right.
They're in his car.
This is a nice high school date. You know, it's good for her to get back to normal. Do kids things.
Right.
Do things kids in high school do.
Right, being a typical teenager.
Exactly.
So good for her.
Yeah.
I heard that, like, you were a hooker and everything. Is that true?
Who said?
Yeah, this partner of mine. His aunt's a nurse at Kennedy High, and Oz told her.
Yeah, it's true. Why?
I wanted to ask you something. I was going to ask you the first time, you know, but... Would you go to bed with me for $30?
I get the money up front.
Oh, she went for it. I got to say, dude, I think he jumped the gun, man. It seemed like she was enjoying the date.
Yeah.
You know? You could have just played that out. And
He might have saved himself $30.
$30, yeah. We also found out earlier that she charged $20. So already you're overshooting right there.
Yeah, well, he has no idea.
Yeah,
he doesn't know the going rate.
He doesn't know what he's doing.
No. And this scene continues. Let's see a little more.
You want to get done like a real hooker, do you?
Tell me you saw that coming, folks. Nice. Now you remember, oh yeah, this guy made The Sopranos. Yeah.
Oh, she handled that pretty well. Played it smart.
Took the $30 and his wallet.
And Michelle's sister's birthday is coming up. And she wants to get her a nice gift. So she starts sneaking out of the house to earn money the old-fashioned way, or the oldest-fashioned way. One day, Dwayne, the boy she stole the money from.
Now, Steve, I don't mean to stop you there, but you might think resorting to prostitution to get your sister a birthday present is a bit extreme. But we should point out that she wanted to get her something really nice, like a color TV for her room.
Oh, well, see, there you go.
So...
that'll send the gal out on the streets.
Yeah, you can't get the job down at the local ice cream parlor and make that kind of money.
That's not gonna cover it. So Dwayne, the boy she stole the money from, spots her on a street corner. She's working, and this occurs.
Where's my money? Where's my money, you whore?
Son of a Mr. Furco nut! Screw your wall, the garbage can! Get off of me!
I believe I heard you and Jim having that conversation a few weeks ago.
Oh, man. So, believe it or not, Michelle and Dwayne, they quickly see the funny side and become a proper couple. Which I guess is would be our typical face turn that we usually spotlight. But we're not going to see how that happens because it's very subtle and it takes a while.
Yeah.
But it does occur.
But one thing I got to point out, though, as that whole process is occurring, there's a lot of scenes that aren't that remarkable. But why did he call his friend, who it seems like they work at a garage together and play in a band together, not even really a band, they just jam together in his garage.
Yeah.
Why did he refer to him as his partner?
I think they're partners either musically or in the at work.
It doesn't seem like that is appropriate in either sense, though. Like they're still in high school or just graduated high school.
Right.
They're not old enough to own their own garage, so they can't be business partners. And do you ever refer to a bandmate as a partner?
No, I guess it is an odd choice of words.
I mean, this is more of a partnership. I never call you a partner.
No.
No, that'd be weird.
Yeah, there are romantic connotations to that today, but was that the case then?
I don't know. I know when I was writing with a friend of the show, Dan Goodman, we consider ourselves writing partners.
Right, but that's commonly ascribed to people who write together.
That's a common term. I'd never heard it to describe two people who work in a garage together. Is all I'm saying. It's a little weird.
Weird phrasing. Yeah. So, Dwayne is a part-time mechanic. And as you mentioned, he is in a musical duo with one of his friends. Now, his brother, he's in a struggling band out in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Dwayne's brother.
Yeah, his name was like Nicky Six or something. I forget what they said.
He's out in L.A. because history tells us Minneapolis in 1980 was a horrible place to be a musician. In their mother's recipe for hot dish, something tells me she overdoes it with the carrots. A call comes into the Johansson home.
He's very unhappy. Something important's going to be happening in the next week or so. A business trip. Looks like I'll be staying at Albert J's place over by Nicollet Avenue.
Mickey? Was that Herb Munganast? Mickey?
You heard it, folks. Herb Munganast.
Herb Munganast. Now, you don't know who he is, do you?
He is the person running for city council whose campaign her mother is working on.
Right.
But he sounds kind of similar to our own war correspondent, Hugh Mongesbecker.
Oh, I see.
Which is what made me laugh, the name Herb Munganast, who we may be hearing from in the future from an undisclosed location. Who knows?
Nice. So Lewis, Michelle's old pimp, he's back in town. He hopes to see her to convince her to drop the assault charges and fall back under his spell. That's not likely to happen until a misunderstanding at school leads to both of her parents landing punches on her.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about the incident at school?
I don't remember which one. Where she gets caught in the
her
AV room?
ex-boyfriend. Her ex-boyfriend and his friends encounter her in the hallway. I guess this is after school. And they tell her that they're inviting her to a party. Well,
how
sounds
nice.
very nice.
Yeah, once again, getting back into the flow of being a typical teenager.
Teenage life, and a soiree.
Right.
But then they lay out the plan. Okay, we'll set you up in a private room. We'll pull our cash, and we can all have our way with you.
Oh.
That's the crux of the proposal.
Oh. Well, that also happens in high school sometime, but what?
No, all right, fine. Yeah. But she kind of baits them to going into, as you said, the AV room, where she kind of humiliates them.
Yeah.
Or humiliates her ex-boyfriend, who was the main, I guess he's the leader of this small gang.
Yeah.
But the door opens, and the principal sees her in this room with these boys, and I think gets jealous or something.
Yeah.
And assumes the worst, and her parents find out. So they beat the crap out of her. So after all this, she goes to see Lewis, her ex-pimp. And after a long chat in his car, she tells him she won't be going back to New York with him. He's not best pleased. Neither is Dwayne. He's the boyfriend who has followed Michelle to the scene. But what he's not pleased about is not her not going back to New York. It's about this meeting taking place and the danger she's put herself in.
Now, I got to stop you right there, Steve.
Sure.
I need to point out a writer's note here.
Yeah.
Lewis is a good name for the boyfriend. Dwayne is a good name for the pimp. So you gotta switch those up a little bit. Just a little helpful note from one professional writer to another.
All right, let's see this.
Just shut up! This here's an $80,000 automobile. This here's a niche.
Did you see what's happening, Mr. O'Man?
I love the calm under fire.
Police, don't you think?
Dwayne, I think the cops are going to be there in a while. You better go.
Yeah, so that occurs.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Lewis is a pretty cool guy. Like, not cool, like, he's cool, like, can you imagine getting someone shooting at your car and you just get out and be like, dude, this is an expensive car. What are you doing?
You mean cool meaning unfazed?
Yeah, exactly.
Not cool meaning actually a decent character who one would want to emulate in life.
Well, we did see his pad earlier in the movie.
Yeah.
And not only is he running a prostitution ring out of there, he's also filming pornographic movies.
Yeah,
So,
it looked like a scene from Shaft.
yeah, so I think actually he is pretty cool in every sense of the
Yeah,
word.
I'm sure he's doing well. He's killing it in life. Now, I have a feeling, Chris, and we did talk about it earlier, we're both going to recommend this movie. Not to spoil the ratings, but we're both
it's
gonna,
obvious.
Yeah. So I'd like to talk about, but not show, a scene in hopes that those watching us will seek this out.
Okay.
Dwayne and Michelle run away together.
Right.
Now, Huline, she's the mother. Michael learned it.
Her name is Huline?
Her name is Huline, indeed.
What the hell?
She sees them at the store, Dwayne and Michelle, getting provisions for the road.
Right.
They later come to the house and Michelle grabs a few belongings. We don't see any of this. What we see is Huline drinking at the kitchen table, breaking the news to Bud that Michelle has run away and this time she's not coming back.
Yeah.
And Huline is sure of it.
Yep. And you see the father, Hal Holbrook, whatever the character's name is.
Yeah. Bud.
You see his reaction to this, which is pretty far out there.
But
Right?
also very powerful and very effective.
Yeah. I had to watch it twice to make sure that what I was hearing was actually what was going on. Because I thought when he says he took a whack at his daughter, I assumed that meant that he hit her. Then I watched it the second time because I thought maybe that's not what he meant. And now, after watching the second time, I don't think that's what he meant.
You have a different interpretation
Yeah.
of that language.
Yeah. I think he meant a whack he had a whack.
Yes.
With his daughter in the room, if you get my meaning.
So very revealing.
I don't want to get too graphic, but
And
it
very
sounds like
powerful.
maybe he was pounding his pecker. But I don't want to get too graphic.
Let's not get too graphic. Isn't that our war correspondent we're going to hear from next week? Or we heard from last week?
By the way, and he in his defense, and this is what he says in his defense as to why he would molest his daughter. She's way better looking than her cousins. Even their fathers say so. So, I mean, when you're faced with that kind of temptation on a daily basis.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that scene is very well written, very well acted, and worth watching only in the context of having seen the entire film. So Michelle and Dwayne have indeed run away. They've run away to L.A. Dwayne plans to pursue his musical dreams.
Sure.
And Michelle will maybe get a job as a waitress. I think that comes up.
I don't know.
As soon as they pull into town, their car breaks down on Sunset Boulevard. Let's see what happens here.
Ooh, you need a new head. You get so moody sometimes. So what? Can it get us to Venice or what?
Venice, it's shot, Michelle. I don't even know where the hell Venice is. I'll tell you one thing, it sure as hell isn't on no movie star man.
You should relax more. I can work. I'll get jobs. I'm 16. I used to wait tables at summer camp, remember? I told you. You can get a job in a garage around here. There's lots of garages around here. Hell, Dwayne, all they got around here is cars. You'll feel better when Tony gets here, I think. You get started on your music and get your brother's help and everything.
That's where you'll end up, I just know it. As soon as things get tight. People in Hollywood say there's nothing but.
Hey, would you like to move this thing? There's people who'd like to get some
Dude,
gas.
that seemed uncalled for.
But is he wrong?
No, but why say that?
Well, he needs to get his car fixed. Come on, Chris.
Dwayne, you said you wanted to take care of me, protect me. What, you don't want to anymore?
You laughed at me when I said it. It was a big joke, right? And all of a sudden it's serious?
taking care of other people is always serious. And that's what makes it such a joke. I've done a lot of it, so I know how you feel.
Where are you going?
I'm gonna walk the strip. I want to see what's happening.
Good tune, then, the movie, too. I don't know what this is, but I like it.
It's a John Hyatt song.
Also, there's no reason for him to run in front of that car. None whatsoever.
The second one jumps. Says I'd do anything at all to get through the long
I was trying to read the name of this restaurant, but I couldn't make it out. So, yeah. I don't like that they faded out on the music, though. But
I think it's so you hear the ambient noise of the city at that time, in that moment in this young girl's life.
Yeah.
And it makes you question what happens next.
Right.
And a lot of people in the comments were talking about how the ending reminded them of The Sopranos. The ending of The Sopranos.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's similar.
I don't think it's similar.
Well, it's ambiguous.
It's ambiguous, but there are only two possible outcomes. Either she does go back to prostitution, or they find a way, and they succeed.
What are you talking about?
Pull a life together out in Los Angeles. But in The Sopranos, it was, we don't know what the hell happened. We weren't left thinking with this, what are they, dead now? Who was that guy in the bathroom? Did he not wash his hands? Is that what this is all about? Is Steve Perry somehow involved? I don't know what's going on over here. This didn't end anything like that.
But there's way more than two possibilities. She could end up with another guy. She could end up living anywhere in the country other than Los Angeles or Minnesota. There's almost limitless possibilities.
Okay, but those are all in one category. That's one possibility, in my opinion.
All right.
She either does or doesn't go back to prostitution.
Okay. But she still has her whole life story to tell. That's why I said I wish they had made a show about her instead of The Sopranos. More interesting people.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. How about a top YouTube comment? You want to do that?
Sure.
Okay. Under the video, there were two.
Yeah, and they were actually one on top of each other as they list these things. So I just grabbed both of them. And one guy says, damn girl, work, which very nice.
WERK.
Yeah, very to the point. And then below that, New York City sucks. Trust me, I went there once and hated it. So believe it, this is a voice of expertise speaking here. New York City sucks. Well done, sir. I don't have their names in front of me, but you can see them on there. And you know, we want to give credit where credit is due. I tried to post my own comment dealing with the term sporting life, but for some reason I was not able to post this comment. So I you know, I don't know. I don't know why.
Well, that's unfortunate. What exactly was the comment?
I don't remember, but something about the sporting life and how I saw this on Kojak.
Well, that sounds appropriate.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Talking about the movie.
So do you want to rate this?
I mean, I'm going all in. I'm giving this a five stars or 5 Merediths.
5 Meredith Baxters.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to go slightly lower. I'm going to say 4 out of 5.
All right.
Despite the few odd choices we discussed, it's definitely a solid production all around.
Yeah.
Not to mention the performances of Hal Holbrook and Mare Winningham.
Yeah. Now, that gives it a combined rating of 4.5, which is way bigger than any movie we've done before. So it rockets right up to number 1, as you'll see in these right here.
Yeah, so definitely recommended. Chris, is there anything we didn't talk about you might want to talk about?
No, I don't have anything else I need to talk about tonight on the air.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Well, in that case, thanks so much for putting up with us. We'll be back next time. And like, comment, subscribe. I'm Steve Rees. For Chris Morgani and for Jim, Oski Wee Wee.
Oski Wawa.
Tigers,
eat 'em raw.
We did it.